We're going to look at, to finish off factoring, some advanced factoring techniques. The first thing we're going to look at is things in the quadratic form. We're going to factor things that are not quadratic. It's not going to be ax squared plus bx plus c, but instead the exponent is going to be different. This is not going to be a 2, and this is not going to be a 1. As long as this is an even power and this is half as big, we can factor something. For instance, let's factor 7x to the fourth plus 16x squared minus 15. We notice that this is even, 16x squared. We notice that this is even, and we notice that 4 divided by 2 equals 2. As long as that's true, we can factor it like we always have. 7x, x, and my choices are 15 and 1, and 5 and 3. Because it's negative 15, we need a minus and a plus. I'm going to start with this. If I put the 5 here, that's 35. That's too big. If I put the 3 here, I get positive 21 minus 5x is in fact 16. And I made a mistake. Big mistake. These are x squareds. 21x squared minus 5x squared is 16x squared. These two exponents will always be the same. Let's look at another one. See if I can do this without messing up. All right, let's do 21x to the fourth minus 57x squared minus 18. Again, we notice we're in quadratic form. Even, you divide it by 2, you get 2, which is this. As always, we need to factor out our greatest common factor. 3, so we have 7x to the fourth minus 19x squared minus 6. And just like always, we factor. Only choice we have here is 7x squared and x squared. My choices for 6 are 1 and 6 and 2 and 3. I'm going to start with the 2 and the 3. Also, because this is negative, I need a negative and a positive. If I put the 2 here, 2 times 14 minus 3 isn't going to work. I put the 3 here, I get positive 21 x squared, and the 2 here, minus 2x squared, 19x squared. I don't want 19, I want negative 19. This becomes a positive. That becomes a negative. So I have negative 21 plus 2 equals negative 19. And we're done. The important thing that this is even and this is half the size. And these two exponents are always the same. All right, we're going to look at one more, and this adds a little trick to it. All right, let's see if we can factor this. Again, we note it's in quadratic form, so we have 5x squared, and we have x squared. This is positive 24 minus here, so it's a negative and a negative. 24 and 1, 12 and 2, 6 and 4, 8 and 3. And then we have to decide. I'm going to start with 6 and the 4 or 8 and the 3. I see that if I have 4 here and the 6 here, it does in fact work. I end up with negative 6x squared minus 20x squared is negative 26x squared. But I'm not done. The directions always say factor completely. Completely. Up until now, this has not been an issue. But if I look at this, x squared minus 4 is the difference of perfect squares. Perfect square, subtraction. I have to factor that. X squared minus 4 is x minus 2 times x plus 2. And I bring down this other factor, 6 minus x squared 5. Wow, that's hard. 5x squared minus 6 times the quantity x minus 2 times the quantity x plus 2. I cannot factor anything else, so now I'm done. We can also have things in the form of cubics. Cubic form. So let's look at an example of that. Here we have 216x to the 6th minus 1. This is written as the difference of perfect cubes. Even though it's not cubic, it's to the 6th power, we could write this as, 6x squared raised to the 3rd power minus 1 raised to the 3rd power. 6 times 6 times 6 is 216, and x squared times x squared times x squared, I have 2 x's multiplied, 2 more multiplied, 2 more multiplied, it's x to the 6th. And then we know that a equals 6x squared, b equals 1, and we just put it into our formula. A minus b, 6x squared minus 1, a squared, 36x to the 4th, plus ab plus b squared. And we have 1 when we square that. All right? Very, very simple. Just like we've been doing, it just looks a little different. All right, let's look at one more problem. It's going to be in quadratic form, but it's going to combine things. All right, we see this is in the quadratic form. Even, half of 6 is 3, this is a 3, and we're good to go. First thing we're going to do is factor out the common factor of 4. 4, so we have x to the 6th plus 24 times 4, 6x to the 3rd minus 7. And I see here that this is going to be pretty easy to factor. X to the 3rd, x to the 3rd, no choices there. Positive and a negative. And the only factors of 7 are 7 and 1. So I want 6 to be positive, so I put the 7 here, and the 1 here. Positive 7 minus 1 is positive 6. But I notice that right here, I have the difference of perfect cubes. So, x cubed minus 1 is x minus 1 times x squared plus x plus 1. Using our formula, a is x, b is 1, we get this. Times, and I need to include these other two factors, so we have times x cubed minus 1, we have x cubed plus 7, and the 4 goes in front. The order that this is written in doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. These three factors can be written in any order, but the 4 needs to be in front. Key here is remember always to factor completely. Sorry that this was a little long, but we kind of covered a lot of information. But at the end of the day, there's nothing new. It just looks a little different. All right, have a great day. Go Pack, and we'll see you guys on Monday.